Hello, my name is Rachel and welcome back to my channel. So today I wanted to talk a little bit about Ark Invest and specifically their innovation fund, ARK or ARKK. So I basically keep seeing this fund pop up all over YouTube and seeing various articles about Cathie Wood online. So I wanted to have a little look more into this fund and see what they're doing and try and make a decision about whether this was something I wanted to invest in. I did come to that decision and I did choose to invest a small amount of money into this fund, but later I will tell you a little bit more about that. You might be wondering why you keep seeing this fund pop up, and it's basically because they had some awesome returns in the last year. So Ark Innovation returned 159% in the last year. So out of 367 different funds, it came second in terms of how it performed over the last year, which is pretty awesome. So that is what got me interested. Ark Invest focus on basically thematic investment. So each of their funds has a kind of theme, and this fund's theme is obviously innovation. So looking at new things that can potentially change the world. So you might be thinking, what exactly does this fund do? What makes it different? And I will basically go to Ark Invest website now and just read you the fund description, because as much as I try and explain this to you, I don't want to misrepresent this or get it wrong. So I'm just going to give you a little read down of what they do. Ark defines disruptive innovation as the introduction of a technologically enabled new product or service that potentially changes the way that the world works. Companies within Ark, or ARKK, include those that rely on or benefit from the development of new products or services, technological improvements and advancements in scientific research relating to the areas of DNA technology, industrial innovation in energy, automation and manufacturing, the increased use of shared technology, infrastructure and services, and technologies that make financial services more efficient. So basically they're looking for companies that are going to change the world, essentially, which sounds like a really big statement. So to get a better idea about Cathie Wood and to understand this fund a bit more, I did a little bit more reading around, and I also watched various interviews with her and also some of her podcasts. So in some of the interviews that I watched with Cathie Wood, she basically described the investment portfolios that they hold as containing lots and lots of Amazons. So Amazon, as you all know, has kind of taken over the world. In the last 5 years, Amazon's share price has gone up 500%. So if Cathie Wood believes that she has shares in her portfolio that are the equivalent of Amazon, then that could mean that there are some really great returns in there. She also made a statement and said that if you're looking for a stock or share that's a little bit like Tesla in terms of the returns, then to look at genome companies. So there's a few different genome companies within her portfolio, and they look at kind of DNA sequencing. I did a video on my top 5 performing funds over the last year. My top performing fund was Baillie Gifford American B Accumulation Fund, which had returned 119% for me. I can link that video down below if it's of interest. But this fund would have returned an extra 40% on top of that. So huge returns here. We're talking about, who knows if it can carry on that way. Cathie Wood herself said that she didn't think that it could, that she thought that the returns would come in the low 20s over the next kind of 5 years, maybe between 20 and 25% over the next 5 years. So we shall see how it does. So this fund typically holds around 35 to 55 holdings. So it's quite diverse in its nature. So generally it's said that to have enough diversity in your portfolio, you generally need to have more than 20 stocks and shares within a portfolio to make it diverse. So around 35 to 55 is what they have in this fund. I was specifically interested in this fund because when I had a look at the top 10 holdings, I realised that I actually had a few of those holdings already. So it made me think that the way that they're thinking about things and the way that I think about investing might be mirrored in a similar way. I'm by no means saying that I am as intelligent or as educated as Cathie Wood, who manages this fund and is the CEO of Ark Invest, but I would say that in terms of picking stocks, we have a similar kind of idea of what could be successful. So the top 10 holdings that Ark currently hold are Tesla, which obviously a lot of people have got stocks and shares in Tesla and they have done very well. The second one is Invitae Corp. then Square Inc., then Roku, which I do have, CRISPR Therapeutics, which I recently bought, Proto Labs, Zillow Group, which I've held for some time now, 2U Inc., Lending Tree Inc., and Teladoc. Now, I think you're probably thinking, well, if you think that this is going to be such a successful fund, why don't you just buy those stocks and shares yourself? Now, I'm going to be honest here, the majority of my investments are all in funds. So I have got a Trading 212 account, and I do have a free trade account that I use to buy small amounts of stocks and shares, but generally most of my investments are in funds. And this is because, to be honest, I don't have the time to be buying stocks and shares on a daily basis and trading them. I also don't have the same education that these fund managers have, and also a fund provides massive amounts of diversity within it. So this fund is traded on a daily basis, so they're looking at selling and buying different amounts of different shares on a daily basis, and this is something that, if I'm completely honest, I can't keep up with at the moment. So I have 2 young children and then also working as well, so it's a lot going on, and I feel much more comfortable with having my money in funds with people who really know what they're doing. Obviously, it's important to monitor any funds that you might have. Also, it's really important to research the funds that you're buying into to make sure that they're diversified. And I've also mentioned in the past before that it's important to have an understanding when buying specific stocks and shares of what that company does. And if I'm completely honest, a lot of these companies that are within this fund are companies that I don't have a huge grasp of what they're doing. So some of them are genome stocks and shares. I know very little about genome and DNA sequencing, whereas the people that are trading these shares obviously do have more of an understanding of that. So I would rather that they handle that than me personally. So I have bought a small proportion of this fund to add to my portfolio. So I have purchased $200 which worked out at about £147 worth of shares. So I did this yesterday. It's already up a little bit. So in terms of the returns that I have seen so far in ARK since I bought it, I only actually bought it yesterday, and I only bought around £147 worth, which is around $200 depending on the exchange rate. And I have seen a return in a day so far, well, just under a day actually, because I bought it a bit later, of £4.35. So obviously that's going to fluctuate massively, but for a one-day return, that's pretty awesome. So exciting times. We'll see how it does over the coming weeks, and I can definitely update you with another video if you think that might be interesting. I might consider purchasing more of it, but at the moment I just basically wanted to see how it does over the next year, and it's quite tricky to get hold of this fund because it's an American-based fund in the UK. So I generally buy funds that are UK-based. So yeah, I'm just kind of testing the waters with this one a little bit before buying any more. And also I wasn't able to buy this fund in an investment ISA, and I would rather buy funds in my investment ISA because of tax efficient reasons. So yeah, I've just bought a small amount of this just to see how it does because I think it's really interesting. Yeah, overall really excited about it. I think Cathie Wood seems to be a really intelligent woman. So yeah, I'm excited to see how it does. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video. I hope you found it interesting and useful. Just to finish, to say that I am by no means telling you or recommending that you invest in this fund. I'm just doing it because I'm interested in it and I want to learn and I want to see how they do. But I'm not saying that you should do that too. And if you are interested in doing it, then please do your own research and have a careful look at it before investing. Anyway, I wish you all the best and have a really lovely day. Thank you so very much for watching. Bye bye.